Hi Taurus, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of March. You have been very focused on career since the ending of last year. Saturn, which is the planet of responsibility and which anchors our goals, entered the fixed air sign of Aquarius in your house of career and life achievement, and it's going to be transiting there until March 7th of 2023. And this is an excellent career cycle for really structuring what you want to achieve in the next couple of years. Jupiter, which is the grand benefic, also entered the sign of Aquarius on December 19th, and the two paired up at the first degree of Aquarius on the winter solstice, and this ushered in a whole new vision of how you can expand and structure your professional goals in the next couple of years, and it's very exciting. Mercury, which is the planet of communication, has also been transiting in this house for you since January 8th, and it's going to be there until March 15th. Mercury in Aquarius is exalted, and it's very innovative and inventive, and this is a very good energy for focusing on your professional achievement. However, it's also important that you make time for your social life and for building connections, because at the beginning of March you have 3 planets transiting in your house of friends and groups and community. The Sun, Venus, and Neptune are all transiting in your house of friendships and groups. So this is also a big focus to make time to nurture your connections. If you're single, it's a really good time for meeting people. I know it's a difficult time, but maybe, through social media or other ways of connecting with people, or however you feel best to connect with people, but this gives you a lot of opportunity to do so. And I think it's important to also focus on your social life, because you've been so busy focusing on career. And Mars, which is the planet of action, was transiting in your sign from January 6th, and it actually leaves on March 3rd. So you had it for almost 2 months in your sign, which means a lot of work and not much rest. So now it's time to socialize a little bit, connect with people, and Mars is entering your house of income and what you value and how you earn money through April 23rd. So it's a big focus on earning money. Make sure not to spend too much money with Mars transiting in that house, but it's a much better placement than Mars transiting in your sign, because even though it gave you a new boost and a new 2-year cycle, Mars doesn't like being in your sign of Taurus. It rules the opposite sign of Scorpio in ancient astrology. So it's just good enough that it's out of your sign, and so that's helpful. On that same day, Venus in Pisces forms a very helpful sextile to Uranus, which is transiting in your sign in your house of self, and this is a very creative energy. It's very innovative. It's good for socializing. You could meet new people if you're single. It's very good for creative projects, and it's just a nice energy. On the 4th of January, Mercury meets up with Jupiter at 17 degrees of the fixed air sign of Aquarius. And this is really lucky and very auspicious energy in your house of career. So really target that date for interviews and for marketing campaigns and for networking with people. And it's good for manifesting work and for feeling optimistic. On the 10th of March, we have more challenging energy because the Sun meets up with Neptune in the sky, and that occurs in your house of friends and groups. Maybe there's confusion with friends. Maybe a friend is going through a difficult time. You could feel a little depleted with relationships. Kind of a good day to lay low. On the 13th of March, we have a new moon, which is a very manifesting new moon. It occurs at 5:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 23 degrees and 4 minutes of Pisces. And this falls in your house of wishes and groups and friends. This is a really manifesting new moon because Pisces rules the imagination, And in order to really manifest, you have to believe that it's possible. And later that day at 9:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Venus meets up with Neptune in the sky. And this occurs in your house of friends. Again, there can be confusion or misunderstandings with friends, but the higher vibration of it is that it can be very romantic. Maybe you do a very creative project with a friend. Maybe you meet a new romantic partner. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, and Venus is exalted in Pisces, and it's transiting in your house of friends and groups until March 21st. So it's a good use to manifest on this new moon. Really figure out what you want to manifest this coming year in your house of wishes, and again, to really broaden your social sphere. On the 15th of March, Mercury enters the sign of Pisces, where it'll transit until April 3rd, and it's transiting in your house of friends and groups, and again, more focus on your social life. Mercury is in its detriment in Pisces, so it's more emotional than linear, and so it can be, creative and fun with friends, but it could be a little bit, emotional energy with Mercury transiting in Pisces for all of us. On the 17th of March, Mars in Gemini forms a helpful sextile to Chiron, which is the wounded healer. And Chiron is transiting in your 12th house of the imagination. And this is good use for coming up with energy for creating things you value, maybe taking action to heal wounds around your possessions or your finances, and it's just a nice energy for doing healing work for all of us. On the 20th of March, we have the equinox, when the sun is exactly above the equator, and we have equal day and equal night, and it's the beginning of the spring season and the Aries season. It's the first day in the astrological new year, or the first day, and this is a time of really honoring what the spring season brings. I cast the chart, and it has Aquarius rising, and we are in the age of Aquarius, which is infinite possibility around connection and people and humanitarianism and brilliance. Jupiter, the luckiest planet, is just a degree off from the ascendant, and that gives optimism. But we also have Sun conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer. It's a wide orb of 8 degrees, but it pronounces the wounds that all of us still feel as we're acclimating to this new age of Aquarius. And that falls in your 12th house of endings and the subconscious mind, and also honoring what you've lost in the last year or last couple of years. And Venus, the planet of love and beauty, is also conjunct by a wide orb, but it is conjunct Neptune, which is the higher octave of Venus, and that falls in your house of friends and groups. Very empathetic and compassionate energy, but again, pronouncing the loss of perhaps friends or wishes that you had in the past, things that we have to say goodbye to as we adjust to fixed change, because Aquarius is all about change. And this equinox with Mars conjunct Chiron is also asking all of us to find the courage to face the wounds so that we can move ahead. And on the 25th of March, we have the Sun and Venus meeting up at 5 degrees of Aries in your house of income, in your house of the imagination and subconscious mind. And that's a really nice energy for love, for creative projects, and it's very romantic, very beautiful energy. And on the 29th of March, we have more challenging energy because the 28th rather, we have the full moon that takes place at 2:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 8 degrees and 18 minutes of Virgo. And on that day, Venus meets up with Chiron, the wounded healer, and really pronounces the wounds around relationships and those that we lost. And it's just a very painful energy. And also the full moon speaks back to the lunar eclipse that took place on November 30th at 8 degrees and 38 minutes of Gemini. So that's a more challenging energy with that full moon in Virgo. And on the 29th, the sun meets up with Chiron, also pronouncing the wounds that we all are feeling. And that falls in your 12th house, again, of endings and the subconscious mind. On the 30th of March, we have Venus in Aries in your 12th house, forming a aspect to Saturn, which is transiting in your house of career and ambition, and that helps a little bit to structure what you value. And then on the 31st, the sun in Aries forms a helpful sextile to Saturn as well, and that helps to bring more stability after an emotional full moon on the 28th. The 28th and the 29th are going to be a bit emotional and intense, I feel. But we're in a new time. We've got the equinox. It's time to find more time for you, for socializing. You've been very busy, but still there's so much to achieve with Saturn and Jupiter in your house of career. So I wish you a lot of luck, and thank you very much, Taurus.